After a decade in the field of nutrition and weight loss, helping women release weight naturally, if I had a magic wand to grant the most common desire I hear from women week after week is this: helping me end the food noise. Mastering hunger, and I'm not just talking about physiological hunger, is complex because it involves two main players: our emotions and genetics, meaning what is hard coded in our DNA. I discovered once I tested my DNA that I have a tendency for binge eating behavior. And if I look back at my life, I can clearly see this tendency, not just in my drinking and eating habits, but also in my personality. You see, I have an interesting relationship with dopamine, the pleasure and motivation neurotransmitter, which allows me great levels of focus and concentration, but on the other hand, makes it easy for me to get stuck in the pleasure response. This means I have a really hard time putting down my favorite foods and, for example, going to bed on time on days that a binge-worthy Netflix show drops. Before understanding my DNA, I used to blame myself for this. And the constant chatter in my head was, I have all this knowledge. Why isn't willpower enough? And if you've tried everything and food noise is still a problem for you too, click the link below this video to apply for your complimentary DNA consultation. Together, we will discuss your exact situation to help you determine if, like for me, functional DNA testing is the solution you've been searching for. I love a good metaphor and a visual that has helped me greatly to understand what is going on. To really see this genetic pressure coded in our DNA is visualizing this river with this strong current. And willpower is like this little canoe trying to roll upstream. Some days I was able to win the willpower game, but most of the time, if I was tired or stressed, my genetics would prevail. Now, here is the cool part. Did you know that even though our DNA does not change from birth to our last breath, it can be influenced through a process called epigenetics? Keeping with our river metaphor, I like to think of this as creating dams to control the flow of the water in this river, slowing down its forces so we can get our canoe where we need to go. My client Céline is a great example of this, so I asked her to share her actual experience with perimenopause weight gain and how much things changed for her after we worked together and tested her DNA.
I was conscious that I was arriving near menopause time. After the birth of my child, I was in the typical need cravings at night after dinner and so on because of exhaustion of bringing up a little being. I was there with 91 kilos, and it's number, only number, but when you pass a certain number and you say, oh, this is not what I wish for me, I didn't know how to deal with that because everybody was telling me maybe it's hormones, maybe it's something else. And I have been eating healthy for years, doing all the right thing, all the Mediterranean diet, preparing my own food, and so on. And nonetheless, I was always gaining weight. I just turned 50. There is a lot of chatter, do you say chatter, in my head that went absolutely off. This is finished. Also, the guilt of not managing my weight is gone because now I know exactly what to do and I know I can have a fluctuation. I'm really appreciating my body. And then we entered in another phase a few months ago to reset the variant genes of the FTO. And this was amazing because I could see the change of personality and I could appreciate how much our DNA is having an impact on how we see the world, how we interact with the world, and so on. And it was like this gene that makes me craving for crispy food at 6 in the evening and so on. When it was on, I was like entering the kitchen and opening the fridge and like that and picking something and saying, oh no, this is no good and so on. But when it was on the neutral position, I was a totally different person. And I could see the potatoes going before me and not having the urge to take one or two or finish the bowl. And that was amazing because then it gave me another level of understanding, appreciation, and also of peace in my head, because I can see the gene going on a position or another, and I know what to do to regulate that. And this is really beautiful, that also knowing our own genetic, you become conscious of the uniqueness of one person, and it gives you much more respect for all the others, for their uniqueness.
What Celine is referring to is how we can turn off food noise naturally. So let me show you a visual. Inside most cells in our body, you will find your DNA, which is like instructions manual that each cell will read to produce a protein that then leads to a biological function. For example, say you had a large meal, so your body translates part of your DNA and produces digestive enzymes. The amount of inner intelligence our bodies have to run things behind the scenes without us having to know how or even to think about it constantly amazes me. So when Celine followed the protocol to turn off the FTO gene, which is one of the most studied obesity genes, often associated with the feeling of being always hungry, never full, even after a full meal, she saw her life transform. As she mentioned, it was like she became a different person. I know what she means exactly because I too have the most challenging code for the FTO gene, which makes it much harder for me to stay lean, and cheat days have a much greater impact on my weight and waistline because of this gene. Through a blend of intermittent fasting, which is recommended for this specific genetic coding that Celine and I have, as well as targeted supplementation, we're able to quiet this gene and the food noise associated with it, which is quite noticeable. And if you're watching this and you're ready to end the food noise naturally and get your fully personalized DNA-led weight release, so you too know what your current in your river is and how to turn it off, apply for your complimentary DNA consultation below this video, and let's explore your exact situation and if this approach is the solution you've been waiting for. Now that Celine has been in weight maintenance since testing her DNA and following her DNA-led weight release plan, I asked her to share what maintenance phase looks like.
I have a clear vision of what's the right diet for me, and it's quite easy to apply. I need to get rid of lots of things that I would love to have. And that's funny because really it's all the very cultural food linked to the cultural French background, the bread, the cheese, the pastries. But I feel okay with that. Now I've got a clear idea of what I can have. And this is helping me so much. Even when sometimes there is a derail because I'm on holiday or something, I keep the intermittent fasting, and it's just so comfortable for me. My body is just happy with that. I know it's for me and not for someone else. So having this understanding of who I need makes daily life much easier because I know how to do my shopping, how to prep my meal, and there is no more wondering if.
Now, what made Celine so successful in releasing and maintaining her new weight was that she understood from the start that the only way to ensure lasting results is to work on the mind alongside the body. Lasting weight release is a mind body process. It is not just about the food, and it is certainly not just about the scale. Here's what Celine had to share about the emotional side of her weight release journey.
The amount of guilt and all these thoughts is gone, and sometimes you get used to the good things and sometimes I realize, oh, this is gone, that's so cool. And
Yeah.
yes, because it makes me joyous, just joyous.
Which is the ultimate goal, right? I'm naturally joyous. I
Yeah, yeah.
love it. And you're such a beautiful example. And the one thing that I will say that I know it's a big part of your success is that you were all in. You did the
Mm,
mindset work. You
mm,
showed up to the calls and to the
mm,
work.
mm.
And something that I never want people to get out of any conversation is, oh, DNA is the magical solution and it's easy. Like it still takes
No.
commitment, right?
The mindset work is great because I
I
was
love
really,
it.
really satisfied with the mindset work. It was so great to have this environment. It's, you know, the knowledge changes everything. This is a great thing about the mindset you provide in the program, because there is something like, this acceptance of reality as it is, nor good or bad. And I lately I'm considering that life is a constant chaos, and we are dealing with the chaos all the time. And having this knowledge you provide in the program, both on mindset and or genetic and how to deal with it and so on, it's like something to rely on, and to then be able to give attention to other things, because
Yeah.
this is no more a problem. This is something you tick off your list of problems of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And it frees up so much energy because
Mm,
otherwise it's so easy to just spinning our wheels. And like you said, cravings are a great example. Is it emotional? Like, where is it coming from? And then it
mm,
feels disempowering if we don't know how
mm,
to actually tackle it in a successful way. DNA, I think, helps get very clear. Okay, these are the trade-offs that are the highest leverage points for you, right?
mm,
And
mm,
sure, I would also love to eat ice cream every day, but I'm lactose intolerant. Even like, I don't know, sugar-free ice cream, I'm lactose intolerant.
mm,
So again, it's a trade-off. What do I want? Inflammation and, gut issues, or, right, feeling amazing and not
mm,
eating ice cream every day. So I think that's a good mindset to look at it and see how much energy you can free up by making the choices that we know
mm.
are right for us.
And what is really interesting, that when I explain people why I'm not eating the same or so on, they say they feel kind of desperate for me because I can't have the food they have. But really, what is great is that if I want, I can. I mean, it's not that
Yes.
it's forbidden. It's just it won't long term. It will be not very good for me. But once in a time, I can have it and I can
Hmm.
enjoy it. So this is really, I really like also this notion that for one occasion, I can have the eat the same as everyone else and enjoy in the community and so on. But
Hmm.
then I know how to go back to what is really the best for me.
I also asked Celine to look back and share her motivation for deciding to invest in this long term solution for her health and weight goals.
My main goal was being attuned with myself as what I felt I was and not where I was at the moment. And also investing in my health long term, because I can see, for example, with inflammation, I can see my mother and aunt having difficulties with inflammation and so on. And everybody says you should lose weight and so on. Yes, but how? You know, and the method you provide is really complete. I mean, I feel I had a whole education around both mindset, dealing with my mindset with very practical tools, and dietetical knowledge about how to prep meals. And it goes far beyond, because it's both what you need as an individual, what you need, exactly what you need. You manage to provide a holistic approach and really something that you can take with you. And also I really appreciate your devotion to the progress of the person in the program, because you always have such a clear vision. You tackle the fog, the non-realistic goals, and so on. I really love this approach and the fact that you unveil reality to the simplest thing. And this clarity just makes it, yes, easier to go forward with the goal we have and to choose the right goal also, the tools to choose the right goal.
This is such an excellent point you made because one of the things we say a lot inside the curriculum, the program, the calls is we need to solve the right problem. When there is a problem that keeps repeating itself, I always look, okay, I did not solve the right constraint. Otherwise, that problem would have been gone, right? And the same for
Sure.
health. But I think for weight loss in general, there's so many moving pieces. It's so convoluted because it
Mhm.
comes from inflammation, metabolism, the emotional piece plays a role, family dynamics. There's so many parts that to actually solve the right problem is very
Mhm.
challenging for most
Mhm.
people. For some, it is inflammation. For some, it's metabolism. For some, it's neither of those. It's stress pathways and dopamine and whatnot. So I think that's cool because we don't all need the exact same solution at the same order at
Mhm.
the same time.
Absolutely.
And without genetics, there's obviously no way to know that. There's too many variables to guess. So kind of love that you brought this up, that solving the right problem and setting a goal that's actually
Mm.
solving the problem that is the next biggest priority is a big part of the journey as well of weight release naturally. I have the honor of working with such wonderful women around the world, artists like Celine and friends. So I asked her to share a little bit about her work with us, and I will link her details below if you want to check it out.
I've had many jobs, and when we met, I was a lecturer at the university teaching Japanese and Japanese history, also developing my art practice as a visual artist. I started to paint again, and I now take creatives, find their voice, and navigate the creative blocks they might have. I created a program that is called the Creative Homecoming, which is a 12-week program to take people from I can't be a creative or my life is not how I would it to be to I know where are my creative blocks and I do something about it and then I find my voice as an artist or a creative. During this journey, I learned human design. So I'm giving readings of human design to use human design to help people define their own creative process. I paint, of course, and I present my painting on local exhibition. I really enjoy the process of being a local artist, getting to know the people around in
That's
real
beautiful.
life.
Like I said, I have the privilege of working with such incredible women. And like Celine, if you want to explore functional DNA testing, click the link below this video to apply for your complimentary DNA consultation. And let's explore if DNA is the solution you've been searching for if you want to release weight naturally in perimenopause or postmenopause. And check this video next on how I use your DNA results to determine the best diet for you. No more one size fits all solution.